Previously on Dragon Ball Z. After the death of Goku and Vegeta, the rest of the Z-Fighters are picked off one by one at the hands of the androids. Of the original team, now only Tien remains, having been rescued by Gohan and Bulma. Will they be able to defeat Dr. Gero's creations, or will they too fall to the android menace? Find out today. The last of Earth's defenders, a warrior's determination. Tien awakens to the cold, sanitary atmosphere of one of Capsule Corporation's medbays and is greeted by Gohan and Bulma, along with a contingent of nurses and doctors. Bulma lets him know just how lucky he is to have walked away from that battle with nothing more than a few scars to show for it. Seems 17's attack actually managed to miss all of his vital organs. Yes, all of them. But lucky is far from what Tenshinhan would call it. After some time to fully recover, Tien and Gohan throw themselves into training once again, and when they can, they try to do their best to hold off the androids and let people escape, but the death toll continues to rise. Tien pushes himself as hard as possible, further developing his mastery of Kaioken, now able to comfortably use it up to times 10. And although having Tien around allows Gohan to further refine his technique and strength, unlike in canon, where he was entirely on his own, he doesn't grow too much stronger compared to the original. Tien, on the other hand, though he has gotten stronger, is infuriated by his lack of progress. He just can't make a dent in the androids, and even though Kaioken is great and his best asset, when it comes to his actual base, he just can't seem to get any tougher. Not with the way things are now. He has to have more potential. He has to. And that's when it hits him. Potential. That's it. Tien recalls Goku mentioning Korin having some kind of sacred water that could draw out latent strength. And that just might be their answer. The best way to push himself further, and even provide Gohan a pretty good boost as well. Together they set out for Korin Tower. And just as a note here, they won't be trying to go into the hyperbolic time chamber. They aren't aware it exists yet. Tien and Gohan are aware that Korin abandoned the tower around when the androids first showed up and ravaged the sacred land below, but maybe they'll be able to find clues as to where he went. But when they arrive, they find something even better, debatably. It's Yajirobe, who moved back into the tower, assuming the androids would have no reason to attack this place a second time. With Yajirobe's help, they find Korin's hiding place, and although Korin is happy to see the three of them, he tells them that there's only enough ultra-divine water for one person. Thinking it over, Tien suggests that Gohan, if he feels ready, should be the one to drink it. Right now, Gohan's the powerhouse, and their best shot at killing the androids. Tien isn't even sure if the water will do anything for him, or if he's reached his absolute peak. He'd just be poisoning himself. Gohan drinks the sacred water and immediately begins to suffer through its effects, while Tien and Korin watch over him. While this is happening, Korin gives Tien a bit of advice, telling him that he should never think of strength as having a peak, and that for everyone, there's always a way to improve and progress, even if it isn't through raw power. Master Roshi must have taught him that much. What he needs is to find something that drives him. Tien ponders this for a moment, but he's distracted by an incoming communication from Bulma. She informs him that West City is under attack. And while the androids don't seem to be specifically targeting Capsule Corp, this is bad. Gohan will be out of action for who knows how long, and Tien knows he won't be able to put up much of a fight, even at times 10. Still, he knows he has to take action. Korin stops him, though, and informs him that there might be another option. He was recently able to get in contact with Uranai Baba, who's currently living within an icy mountainside not too far away from this location. If he finds her quick, she might actually be able to bring back the Z-Fighters to help him temporarily. Tien is shocked. He had no idea this could even be done. And together, they might even be able to hold off the androids long enough for Gohan to recover and join them. Maybe even beat them. Bulma informs Tien that she's gathering as many citizens as possible within Capsule Corp, and their defenses will hold, but he needs to hurry, even if the androids like to take their time. Those defenses are no match for them. Korin projects Baba's location to Tien's mind and gives him a small bag of senzu, warning him that these might be the last senzu he'll be able to make for the foreseeable future, to use them wisely. Tien pockets them and flies off at top speed. Before long, Tien finds a hidden encampment containing a decent amount of people, mostly what remains of Jingle Village and the surrounding areas, including Ader, and Suno, who's unfortunately been confined to a wheelchair after an android attack. At first, the people are in fear of this random flying man who could be another android for all they know. But someone comes forth to vouch for him. Launch, sporting her blonde hair, informs them that he's a friend of Goku's, and Ader immediately relaxes. With no time to lose, Tien has Launch lead him to Baba, who quickly takes in the situation. She states that he came at a good time, since she was planning on leaving Earth to hide out in Otherworld until the whole android thing blew over, if it ever did. But she ended up getting sidetracked saving all these folks. Normally, she wouldn't really do charity work, but Crisis has a way of changing people. Baba explains that she can bring back the deceased, but right now she'll only be able to manage just one fighter, and it only lasts 24 hours. Tien's heart sinks, but he starts thinking about which fighter to choose. He briefly considers either Goku or Vegeta, who may have been a bit stronger than him by the time he died. But King Kai suddenly contacts the Triclops and informs him that Vegeta's unfortunately in hell, but tells him that there is someone who's much stronger than either of them. Suddenly, Bulma contacts us through the communicator once more, and he can hear the sounds of Baby Trunks' crying in distress, and she informs us that the androids have begun pounding away at Capsule Corp. Tien quickly shouts at Baba and King Kai to just do it, send anyone, and he flies off in the direction of West City. As he arrives to interrupt the droid's rampage, they comment on how annoying it is that he still hasn't keeled over. But he ignores them and immediately goes on the offensive with Kaioken times 10. He knows he's no match for them, but he can at least give Bulma and whatever refugees she has enough of a chance to escape and evacuate. Before long, of course, he begins to slow down and the androids beat him into the ground. Without giving him a second thought, they fire a ki blast to finish him off. But a figure leaps out from nowhere and kicks straight through the blast, shattering it and easily bashing the two androids into a nearby skyscraper. Piccolo, halo and all, has arrived with fortune teller Baba. Tien is surprised, and Piccolo explains that he and Kami merged into one being while they were in Otherworld. And just to point this out here and establish power, just like in canon, future 17 and 18 are not as powerful as their present counterparts, but Piccolo's also not as strong as he was when he merged with Kami originally. Right now he's about as strong as one of the future androids, and keeping in mind how easily they were able to kill the original future Gohan and beat future Trunks before he time traveled. It still is going to be a bit difficult for him to fight two at once. Baba warns Piccolo that if he is destroyed here outside of Otherworld, he will cease to exist as they know it. Not even King Yema knows what will befall his soul.
Alright, you guys are on your own. I've had my fill of these androids for a lifetime,
she exclaims, and flies off on her crystal ball as the androids return to the battlefield. Well, well, Big Green. I didn't expect to see you again, 17 comments.
They can just bring people back from the dead? What the hell? Dro's databanks don't say anything about that.
18 complains, pointing at Piccolo's halo. Big surprise there, her brother replies. Whatever, I can kill you twice, he continues, dashing at Piccolo, but striking at nothing but air. With a look of dumb shock on his face, he's punched in the side of the face and sent flying before Piccolo's arm stretches out and grabs him by the throat and pulls him back in. Huh. Deja vu, Piccolo says, holding the android in the air before using his stretchy limbs to spin 17 in a circle, crashing and knocking down multiple buildings before letting him go flying and following up with an explosive demon wave. But 17 dodges right at the last minute. What the hell? He shouts as he flies back. 18 stops him though. Slow your roll, 17. You hogged him last time. It's my turn to kill him. Ugh, whatever. He relents. Tien grits his teeth in anger. Everything's a damn game to these monsters. The battle between Piccolo and 18 rages on, with neither fighter giving an inch. Tien is amazed. It's downright unbelievable how well Piccolo's doing. He's even able to land solid hits on her over and over. It's like he's a completely different person than he was before. But as strong as he's gotten, Piccolo, even with his otherworldly body, still doesn't have an infinite amount of energy. And the androids do. 18 will never tire. All she has to do is run out the clock, and she tells him as much. But what she doesn't have is an infinite amount of patience.
Oh,
Piccolo smiles. Then I guess I'll just have to completely obliterate you. He rips off the tattered remains of his shirt and screams as he powers up. Kaioken! He shouts, engulfing himself in red and landing a barrage of strikes on the girl. Tien laughs. Of course. Fusing with Kami or not, there's no way Piccolo would have just stayed idle, even in death. Picking up Kaioken was a given. This actually turns the tide and puts 18 on the back foot. But the androids don't play fair. 17 joins his sister, and even with Kaioken stacked on top, Piccolo just can't take them both. Tien flies up to try and join the fray, but 17 swats him like a fly. Wait your turn, loser. We'll get rid of you shortly. You're no fun anyway, just like those last guys. Enraged, Tien powers up to Kaioken times 10 and flies towards the android, with the latter responding by shooting a beam straight at his eyes. However, Tien's form instantly dissipates upon being struck, revealing him to be nothing but a multiform clone. What the?
Evil! Containment wave!
17 whips around just in time to see a mass of green energy swirl around him as he's helplessly pulled to and fro into a talisman marked jar Tien had set down right beforehand. Yes! Yes! Tien screams in his mind. Confused but reacting quickly, 18 jabs her fingers into one of Piccolo's eyes and manages to throw him at Tien, interrupting the evil containment wave and breaking the jar, freeing her brother. 17 is visibly shaken and completely bewildered. Now, the androids are pissed. Got any more of those jars? Piccolo asks, sweating. Just one, and there's no way either of them will fall for it again. Not with their speed. Damn, thought so. What about you? How far can you push Kaioken? Right now, this is my limit. Training ended a bit short notice, I'm afraid. I see. Even together, it's very unlikely Piccolo and Tien can survive this encounter. The androids fire a combined blast to kill their targets in one shot, but just before they're hit, Gohan flies in, shoving them out of the way and immediately following up with a tri-beam, blasting the off-guard androids into the distance of the city. Gohan hugs Piccolo, overjoyed to see his master again. Piccolo, in turn, is amazed to see Gohan's progress. After surviving the Divine Water, Gohan is now even stronger than Vegeta was when he died, though he's not anywhere near Piccolo's current level. Piccolo tells his student how proud he is of him. Together, the three of them may just be able to pull off a win. If they can manage to take just one of the androids down, they can gang up on the remaining one. The androids, however, are well aware of this. They're fighting at full tilt now. With their speed and synchronization, it's going to be easier said than done. Suddenly, both 17 and 18 are frozen in place by bizarre purple chains coming out of the ground. What the? Tien looks up, seeing Baba floating on her crystal ball while casting a spell.
What are you waiting for? I'm not getting any younger!
She can't hold them for more than a few seconds. The three warriors go all out and fire their strongest ki blasts, the combined light of their attacks completely engulfing the androids. The tension is palpable, as Piccolo, Gohan, and Tien just stand there, unsure of what to think or do. But as the dust settles, the androids are only barely damaged, having each activated their barrier, not needing to be capable of movement to do so. The heroes are shocked, having never seen this ability since the androids never had a reason to use it before this. Before the heroes can react, one of them fires a blast at Baba, and she's only able to close her eyes before being completely disintegrated, her crystal ball falling to the ground and rolling away. Gohan looks on in terror as Tien curses out. Piccolo begins to feel a tingling sensation as he loses his tether on this world, getting pulled back into Otherworld. The androids immediately fire a blast at him, and the weakened Piccolo pushes his two comrades away. Gohan screams out and tries to fly towards his mentor, wanting to take the attack head-on instead, but Piccolo knocks him back with a ki. He gives him a sad smile as his body starts fading into Otherworld, but before it can fully vanish, he's completely overtaken by the android's attack. Tien leaps out of rubble and aims a Dodon Ray point blank at 18's eye, actually managing to wound and permanently eliminate it. He quickly flips back and solar flares the droids, But they're quite sick of this little trick by now, and pretty angry. As soon as they're blinded, they let loose an explosive wave, leveling the entire city. When the debris and rubble settles, 18 screams at 17 to find the bodies as she holds a hand against her wound, blood and loose wires leaking. "Are you crazy? You really want to play scavenger hunt in all of this?" He motions to what remained of West City. "Ugh!" 18 groans and flies off. 17 sighs and flies after his sister. Among the ruins, Tien helps Gohan out as they exit what was once the city limits. Bulma contacts Tien to let them know she's alright, but Gohan is shouting to King Kai. "King Kai! King Kai, are you there, please?" "Yes, Gohan, I can hear you." "Is Piccolo there? Did Piccolo make it to Otherworld?" "I'm sorry, Gohan." Gohan falls to his knees. Tien begins to walk to the boy, to give him some sort of comfort, but he just flies off into the distance, quickly becoming a speck in the horizon. Tien is alone. His friends are dead, along with millions of others, and now one of his friends is denied even the right to rest. He tries to think of what to do next, but he can only seethe with hatred. He damns the androids, he damns the gods, he damns Goku for leaving him. But more than anything, he damns himself. Always himself. He retrieves Baba's crystal ball and flies away. Later that day, Tien arrives at Kame House and knocks on the door. Master Roshi cautiously answers it. From behind, Tien can see a random assortment of movement boxes haphazardly thrown about.
Tien, my boy, you're alive. What?
Roshi stops as soon as he sees the crystal ball in his pupil's hands. He removes his glasses and wordlessly takes it, an expression of pain strewn across his face. I'm sorry, the young man says and turns around to leave. As he walks away, Roshi feels something stirring in his student's spirit. Something dark.
Tien, wait.
He stops.
What are you going to do?
Goodbye, Master, Tien utters before flying off, leaving Roshi to stare up at the sky in concern. Tien thought now about what Korin had mentioned earlier, about something to drive him as he flew off, unsure himself of where he was going. Elsewhere, 18 and 17 are in an argument.
"You aren't taking this seriously," 18 yells.
Come on, sis. The scar's gonna look pretty badass.
"Don't you get it, you idiot?"
Even if we won, they got close. Really close. Whether they use tricks or not. What if next time they have more tricks? What if they bring back more dead people? What happens then? You really want to take the risk? You might be right. Maybe it's time we pay a visit to the old good doctor's lab and make sure we're the ones with a few tricks next time. This calms 18, and she smiles along with her brother. And for now, that's where this story ends.